here. Do I pick somebody or somebody?
I'll go first because I'll say if you read, I read the indictment. Yeah, I read the indictment, and a couple things struck out at me. The first is that it was specifically alleging violation of federal AML and BSA, Bank Secrecy Act rules. So for those who want to, traffic through local Bitcoin, I think you need to take this very seriously. They asked for 30 months, and one of the reasons why they asked for 30 months, and this is in the indictment, is to send a message. So I would hope anyone watching this does get that message sent. With regard to your point, Tone, that you should maybe record, you should also be cognizant of the fact that depending on what state you are, you actually need the person who you're recording's permission before you record, or else you're in a separate sort of criminal area. What was most interesting to me about this case, though, was that they didn't allege that she was required to have a money transmission license under California state rules, which is interesting for a couple reasons. Every state has their own money transmission scheme, and California is sort of interesting because they have soft guidance that suggests that crypto is not deemed money for the purpose of money transmission. This sort of gets into our next story about Espinoza or what have you. But this is specifically about FinCEN, and if you are someone who is trying to operate a money service business, it's not so difficult to actually comply with FinCEN's requirements. It's basically notice, and then there's AML and KYC procedures that you can go through. But a lot of that, if you're really doing $6 to $9.5 million a year, you can offload that on third parties. So you are going through an entity set up specifically to vet the transactions you're going through. So to me, Teresa she probably had actual warning for quite a long time that this was a risk she ran, and the government wanted to send a message by pursuing such an aggressive prison sentence.
I don't think that women should be going to jail, honestly. I think, but for their interference, and enticement or whatever, like, she would not be in this situation. Obviously, I mean, lots of people don't really understand what their responsibilities are, especially in such a new industry. But according to FinCEN, the way that FinCEN sort of translates the Bank Secrecy Act, an exchanger is a person that is engaged as a business in the exchange of virtual currency for real currency funds or other virtual currency. So it's pretty clear. And if you are that, then you have the responsibilities of a money services business conferred onto you by that virtue. Fair enough. You have to record keep and you have to report. You have to do SARS. You have to file amounts over $10,000. Okay, but she was also paying her taxes, right, Tone? She told you that she was paying her taxes, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's take her at her word. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt that she's paying her taxes, yeah? I think where she really fell is by that whole, might go use this to buy some drugs. I mean, did she tell you exactly what happened?
That was. I mean, the article says the same thing. It was an undercover. It was an undercover that was either buying Bitcoin, that was selling Bitcoin to her, that implied that he earned that Bitcoin through illicit activity.
Right, and so this is the sort of thing that that really makes my blood boil. It's but for this person messing around with what seems to be a very decent, law-abiding woman, implying that these funds were illicitly obtained or going to be used for illicit, actions. This woman would probably have not gotten in trouble. I've dealt a lot with the regulators in California, and they're very clear that we have not dealt with this. We don't consider Bitcoin to fall under our definitions of what legal tender is in the state of California. So I really think that basically because we have some overeager functionaries, a good woman is going to go to jail, because why not give her the chance to remedy this? Like, why is it a bad thing for a person to make some profit in a new industry?
And it's not like she was making gigantic profit. I mean, the documents are claiming she made about $300,000 over a 3-year period. So that's approximately $100,000 a year, which for a state like California is not that high a salary. This was just simply a job for her. And yeah, it says right there that was an $80,000 deal, probably not one deal, probably several deals. And the proceeds of the Bitcoin came through drug trafficking, or that's what the agent claimed. And it's how they got her. And once you get her on something, you can send her to jail. Now you start tacking on shit like, oh, well, she didn't register with FinCEN as a money services business, even though Justin just said in California she probably didn't have to. But hey,
have a money transmitter transmitter license in California.
Right, but hey, once they can already put her away, now they start tacking it on, and then they're saying, hey, she was also fueled a black market financial system. Once they got you on a technicality, they can then say whatever the hell they want to tack on the biggest sentence they could.
Well, and they have lower burdens, frankly, they really do, than average people. So this woman would have had to really prove her innocence, which I actually don't think she's guilty of anything, to be quite honest with you. Maybe that makes me...
Right, well, Brian Klein was her defense attorney. I know him. I reached out to him. We'll try and get him on the show. He said he can't do it this month, but maybe we can get him in August. Maybe we'll bring this case back up when he's on. All right, final thoughts, Adela, then we go to Sasha.
I'm sorry, what now?
Final thoughts, and then we go to Sasha.
Oh yeah, no, I really think it's kind of disgusting that they would spend so many resources in trying to bring a woman like that down for seemingly no good reason. It's I mean, who here has not traded on local Bitcoins? I've traded.
Let's not incriminate ourselves.
All right, okay, fine. But that brings me to something really important. So with local Bitcoins, that's one of the things that we're actively trying to do at this point is to take the necessary steps to avoid that the users of local Bitcoins don't get into these situations. And I sat with the founder and co-founder of local Bitcoins about 2 months ago, and we really had a conversation about the situation. And it really is very concerning to them that so many people are kind of taking the fall for using their service. And so things are going to change at local Bitcoins in a lot of ways, and it's because of these actions. And really, you can just thank the regulators and the actually not even the regulators at this point, but law enforcement. You can thank them for that. So expect to see a lot more enhanced due diligence on onboarding and just a whole different sort of experience.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that that's where we are with everything now, is that you really, a company can't operate safely without requiring all of your KYC information. Like if you saw, the exchanges in America in this past couple months, like they're actually holding people's money hostage and saying, unless you give us your, passport and photo and let us KYC you, we won't let you withdraw the money. And it's because of this type of, it's so vague on the money transmission laws too. Like it's different in every single state. And the process of getting each state's license is it's going to take a couple years, for a company to start it, it will take years to get.
Interestingly, Sasha, I have to give massive props to the state of Washington, and they'll probably shoot me for saying this, but they're actually rolling out a pilot program whereby companies seeking money transmitter licenses in various states can apply through them. And what that will do is cover about 12 states at this point. So,
that is fantastic.
Yeah. So I was on the phone with them yesterday morning, and I was like, they were like, do you have any more questions? And I was like, who came up with this? It's amazing. This is exactly what we've been waiting for. So they have taken a massive amount of initiative and done that. So that in itself, interestingly, saves a company like $300,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Incredibly, if you want to tack on legal fees to the application fees and the bonds and the this and the audits and the blah, it's extremely expensive. If you're rolling out through the 50 states, you can expect to see pricing just for the registration,